Foxy is by far the most popular animatronic around in the FNAF universe, hands down. Sorry, Chica, Bonnie, and Freddy. I see you, I love you, but you're just no Foxy. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we're going to be giving some more love to Foxy once more, allowing this amazing, often piratey animatronic to take the spotlight as we count down the top 10 FNAF alternate versions of Foxy Part 2. So let's allow Foxy in all their forms to steal our hearts once more as we get into it. Number 10, Ringmaster Foxy. Is anyone else super creeped out by Ringmaster Foxy's whip arm? That arm has to make this version one of the creepiest ones out there. Ringmaster Foxy comes to us from the magical world of the FNAF AR mobile game Special Delivery. This is Foxy's second skin to be released in the game as part of the Dark Circus event. This skin first appeared on September 3rd of 2020 in-game and presents Foxy reimagined as a twisted version of a ringmaster, or a ringleader if you will, in a circus. Here he does not sport his eye patch and typical piratey look, but is still missing an eye. His remaining eye glows yellow, which matches his brightly colored gold tooth, which also kinda seems to glow. Number 9, Roxy. Roxy actually isn't from the canon world of FNAF, but is from what we'll likely come to know as the FNAF multiverse. She is from a fan-made game inspired by FNAF called Pyro Illusion, subtitled Five Nights at Roxy's. Roxy is the main character of the bunch and is described as being a pyro fox. This fan-made game I don't think is out yet, but it has been in development since 2017, so should be out soon, I would think. And so far, it looks like it's going to be really good, just based on the trailer and all the promotional material that I've seen on that page. Here's hoping it drops soon so that we can get a closer look at this world, where the main character of this new sort of FNAF adjacent franchise seems to be a fox herself. It's like a world where a female Foxy was the main character of the franchise instead of Freddy. I love it. I mean, I feel like for some of us, that's already a situation. Every day we're like, Foxy's sort of the main to me. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, more lists on Foxy, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8, Molten Foxy. Molten Foxy is not a version of Foxy we have ever seen in-game, but is a really cool fan-made alternate that I personally would love to see in the game. Everyone loves a molten animatronic, so why not a Molten Foxy, huh? Redditor Kurzy shared some artwork of just that, a version of Foxy that seems to have a ton of melted down wires and also seems to have only their hands and head left. Yikes. Their eyes are mixed into the tangle of wires that are spread out below them. In fact, they might even have more eyes than they actually have. And the rest of their endoskeleton seems to have come apart, melting down likely in the heat. A disturbing sight that would definitely spook you in-game. Number 7, Nightmare Foxy from FNAF World. I know we talked about Nightmare Foxy from the canon FNAF games on part 1 of this list, but did you know there was also a Nightmare version of Foxy in the FNAF World game as well? Yep. Just like the Foxy from FNAF World that we talked about on part 1 of this list, this Nightmare version was also a lot cuter than the one we saw in FNAF 4, to of course match the aesthetic of the game. This version of Foxy appears to have upgraded attacks from his previous version, the OG Foxy. His attacks are Bite 2, Unscrew 2, and Hot Cheese 2. Also, last time I said that FNAF World was not available to play anymore, but it's apparently available to play, just not on Steam. You can still get it on Game Jolt. I pretty much exclusively get my PC games from Steam and also from my Game Pass membership, because I have like it on my Xbox and on my PC. But as evident from my earlier point about Pyro Illusion, because of all of you, I have been checking out Game Jolt more, and I gotta say, it's a pretty cool place. I feel like I've actually probably played games that we got from Game Jolt before on the channel. I just didn't know that's where they came from. I guess I thought they came from, I don't know, like sites that indie gamers make, which I think is also a thing. But yeah, Game Jolt is really cool. It's a really cool community with so many cool indie and free games to play. So if you're like me and you didn't know about it, go check it out. And if you did know about it and you told me about it, thank you for sharing that. I didn't even know. Contrary to popular belief, us hosts are also humans, and so we, 1, make mistakes, and 2, we don't know everything. We try our best, but we don't know everything. Number 6, Step Closer Foxy. This version of Foxy comes to us from the Fazbear Frights books, and it is theorized that he somehow has the power to place a curse on those who listen to his song. This is at least what we're led to believe somehow happened to Pete, who is told in song that in order to be a pirate, he'll first need to lose an eye and an arm. He then proceeds to have experiences which seem to endanger either of those two body parts. Although he tries to rush back to cure himself of the curse with the help of his brother, in the end, he doesn't make it. He's hit by a car, and then he ends up on an operating table. The doctors believe him to be dead, but while paralyzed, Pete is still somehow awake, still conscious. He is forced to watch as his hand and eye are removed as he registered as an organ donor, and someone else is in need of transplants. As he watches, he can hear this version of Foxy singing in his head. Such a good, scary story. Step closer. Number 5, Funtime Foxy from FNAF World. I love Funtime Foxy even more in FNAF World. Just such a little cutie. Funtime Foxy is already cute in giant size, so this more like kind of chibi inspired take on the animatronic is just delightful. I also like how when they attack, they still keep their little arm behind their head, like just casually trying to cut you with my hook. No big deal. Don't worry about it. Their attacks in-game are Happy Jam 2, Cosmic Song, and gift boxes. Even their attacks sound adorable. Happy Jam itself is a heal, and I also just love a good healer character in an RPG. Always an important part of a party. Number 4, Roxanne Wolf. Well, Foxy is a fox, and Roxanne is a wolf. Roxanne is still kind of the stand-in for Foxy, as I see it, in Security Breach's new glam rock crew. Unless you see Montgomery Gator as more of a sub-in, neither of these animatronics is really too close to either Foxy or Bonnie, but if we had to go with one of them, Roxanne is definitely closer to Foxy than Bonnie is to either of these. Roxanne definitely has a similar look to Foxy, just in terms of her overall animatronic shape and design. Both her and Foxy have snouts and pointed ears, while Foxy is typically portrayed as playing the accordion, which also is an instrument with keys, you might notice. Roxanne plays the keytar in the glam rock version of the band that we see from Security Breach. So they both are kind of playing a similar instrument in my mind as well. They both have keys on them. Number 3, Withered Foxy. Withered Foxy is a more tattered version of the original. This version is in even worse shape than the version of Foxy we saw in FNAF 1. However, this version, in comparison to other Withered animatronics, actually isn't doing too bad. In fact, you could even say that Withered Foxy is the least broken down of all the other Withered animatronics. Mostly the rips in his suit are just larger, but the rest of him at least appears to be intact without any major missing pieces. Sure, you can see some of his endoskeleton poking through, but at least there is still some of his fur-like suit clinging onto the animatronic. Are the animatronics even covered in material that you think would feel like fur? Or does it just look like fur? Or is it actually nothing like fur and it's like hard plastic? What do you all think about the potential animatronic textures or textiles? I think about textiles way too much in life, I think. Number 2, Phantom Foxy. I personally like how Phantom Foxy kind of glows in the dark. Not only are they terrifying, but somehow this also makes the Phantom version of Foxy also cool at the same time. Is that possible? Can you be like cool and scary? I don't know, but I do know that if there were a t-shirt that said cool and scary on it with like, I don't know, a trendy or like hipster ghost, I would totally wear that. Phantom Foxy, as we see him in FNAF 3, seems to appear similar to Withered Foxy in terms of his overall appearance. He's like a charred or burnt up version of that animatronic. His one eye blinks a bright white ghostly color, and he also happens to be missing his right arm and hook. Yikes. Number 1, Foxy. We've talked about all these alternate Foxys, but I think it's also important that we highlight the original version, the OG. Not an alternate per se, because, well, he is the original, but still an important version to discuss, as it's the one we all fell in love with. The original version of Foxy is, of course, the one we saw in the first FNAF game, named just Five Nights at Freddy's, the game that started it all. Foxy here is shown as being a bit shy at first, hiding behind his curtain, but once he comes out to play, he is very enthusiastic, too enthusiastic really, sprinting towards you. Many theorized in this first game that Foxy was actually not an antagonist, but merely running to check in on you and make sure you're safe, but accidentally startled you in the process, so much so that you, as Mike Schmidt, have a heart attack and die. Of course, Scott himself has confirmed that Foxy is not a friendly animatronic, but is an antagonist just like the rest of the crew. Still, we can dream of a world or a game where we get to become friends, not enemies, of Foxy. What is your favorite alternate version of Foxy? Which do you think is the best version? Have you played any FNAF-inspired fan games, and are there any that you would recommend I check out on Game Jolt? Let me know. Share your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I am your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you till next time to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!